Coming up.
I did a kind of ambassador's reception, as no one first grade says.
What's a legend?
Undeniable.
Anathema, how dare they?
Is that you?
Go for it.
Bear! Bear!
Michael Bond used to read me bits from his new book, his new Paddington book.
No, I think it was young and innocent. Lovely. What's required?
I find as I get older, the less I give a damn.
I shall relish my blandness. Is there a question you'd like me to ask you?
I'm not sure I'd even know the answer to that.
There's leaf for it, and it's got very big roots.
Teacher Sam!
Can you do it as if we're in the pub?
And now, enjoy the podcast.
How do you say that?
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 Hello and welcome to today's episode of How Do You Say That? Sponsored by VoxBox, the portable, foldable, storable audio booth. This is my co-host, Mark Wright.
Hello! And this is Sam Boffin.
And we are about to have our weekly hit of voiceover fun with some scripts and a brand new guest.
So welcome to the practical podcast for voiceovers and everyone else who works with voices as well. And remember, if you find it fun and useful, and frankly, even if you don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode.
So this week's fun fact about Mark is he's having a bonfire later this evening.
I am. I've got loads of boxes that didn't get done on bonfire night, so I've got lots of things to burn in my incinerator bin.
Lots of things
I've got
to
a
burn.
few people coming round. We're all pyros, really. It's all good. Hopefully won't set the house on fire.
Very nice.
Sam's fun fact is that she's just started taking mushroom gummies for the last couple of weeks. What? I've never heard of these.
Well, that's okay. You don't have to hear of mushroom gummies. Apparently they're related to magic mushrooms, but I don't think we'll go into that. Apparently 10 different mushrooms. They're for focus, energy and clarity.
I mean, it sounds dreadful, a mushroom gummy, but you know.
No, they taste of raspberry or something.
Oh,
They're
fine.
really nice.
Oh, that's all right. I can do that.
And, of course, we also have a very special guest who this week is voiceover legend, Jonathan Kydd.
Hi, Jonathan.
Lovely to be on the show. Thank you very much for inviting me. Really appreciate
Oh,
it. Fantastic.
pleasure.
Sam, shall we find out a bit more about Jonathan?
Yes, now Jonathan has been voicing since 1986.
Oh,
He has
yes.
done over, and I had to put the comma in this, 20,000 ads,
Wow.
corporates,
Yes.
docs, video games and animations. He's also voiced over 70 video games, including
Yes.
Fable, all the Harry Potters, playing Hagrid and Death Eaters and Urklings, plus 2 Assassin's Creeds, and he's done loads of animation, including Noddy, Toyland Detective, and, which is very apposite at this moment in time, 79 episodes of Paddington Bear, playing Paddington Bear.
Ah. Love it, love it. He's basically been hiding in plain sight. He's been everywhere. He's worked for all the major broadcasters a lot. He's been the voice of L'Oreal and the voice of Honey Nut Loops, Shake and Vac, Ford, Coca-Cola, Sainsbury's, Film 4, Channel 4, Discovery, Nat Geo Plus, lots of inanimate objects as well. And he's got a new book out. No doubt we'll hear more about that in a little while. Welcome, Jonathan. Have you got a fun fact for us?
Fun fact, I did the ambassador's reception commercial for Ferrero Rocher.
Oh, I love it.
Is that
That's my fun
you?
fact. That was when it was me doing, eccellente.
Oh my
and
what
a fantastic
legend.
actress called Eve Karp, who I think has given up the business, who was, Ambassador, you are spoiling us. That was
wow.
her. And that was a ridiculous ad to be involved in, because of course everybody hated it and said it was disgraceful, this kind of commercial shouldn't be on British television. But the reality was it was a pan-European ad.
Absolutely.
And it had been everywhere, all over Europe, dubbed, and they don't seem to have the same problem as with dubbing across Europe. Whereas
No,
in England, the fact that the character spoke with one lip movement and there was another voice coming out of her was considered anathema. How dare they? And
It's a
in fact,
legendary ad.
Absolutely legendary. It gave Ferrero Rocher a place in the market it
didn't
never
it?
had.
For sure.
Didn't
I mean,
it?
people are still saying those lines.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but there was a weird thing where people used to say eccellente to me as if somehow that was it was in their conversation, not knowing that I'd actually said that in the ad. And that became part of
Amazing.
people's
I love it. It
vocabulary.
did, yeah.
People would just say, yeah, eccellente. And I'd go, I wouldn't say, actually, that was me doing that.
Eccellente.
Well, let's have a look at the first script of the show and ask, how do you say that?
How do you say that?
So this is a little script I did recently.
What is it, Sam? What is it? Is it corporate? Is it? What is it?
No, it's actually part of a book,
Oh.
part of an audiobook about entrepreneurs.
So factual book.
Yeah,
okay.
non-fiction.
factual non-fiction, done in any particular style?
Well, I mean, no, not really. I mean, you can absolutely do what you like with this one. I just thought it was a fun little
don't say
piece.
that to me.
No,
Or me.
You
or
never,
me.
yes, quite.
Oh,
Jonathan,
see,
we could be let loose on this, couldn't we?
Yeah, well, let yourself loose on it.
that voice. I'd love to do that voice, Margaret, but I don't think I will.
So, yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones that's got a lot of repetition in it. It's got a bit of a list.
Well, I'm going to go off the wall then, in that case.
Crumbs.
Let's see what comes out.
Crumbs.
Let's start by accepting and highlighting 3 basic, concrete and absolutely undeniable premises. 1. Everyone, without exception, has felt fear at some point in the past. 2. Everyone, without exception, continues to feel fear, often and on many occasions, in the present. 3. Everyone, without exception, will continue to feel fear in the future. All human beings, in fact all living beings, feel fear. Fear is absolutely necessary. Repeat after me. Fear is absolutely necessary.
And I, for one, would definitely love to be hearing you for 6 hours in my ear on that.
Wow, can you imagine? I don't know, it's something about the Pathé voice screamed out at me.
Did it? Well, yes. I mean, of course, if it was literally that bit. What did you think, Jonathan?
I'll just say yes, very positively. Yes.
Yes, very good.
Yes.
It's all right.
No,
You can shoot me down, Jonathan. It's absolutely fine. I can take it.
No, I wouldn't. No, it's lovely. I've heard every word. It was clear. Clarity is everything. It's yes. And why not? Why not that read?
I think we've all been told clarity is everything at some point, whether that's true or not, whether it is everything or not. I thought that voice came out because I read the absolutely. So absolutely in the top, absolutely in the bottom. And I just thought that was one of those words that's a kind of trigger for that.
Yes. Is that just when you see the word undeniable, you just have to do Pathé News? Is that the idea? Undeniable.
Something like that.
Can I have a go? Please.
Absolutely.
Do have a go. Please. Do have a go.
I'm going to be unbelievably dull. Really, I can't believe you said that. I'm just going to be dull. Let's start by accepting and highlighting 3 basic, concrete, and absolutely undeniable premises. Number 1. Everyone, without exception, has felt fear at some point in the past. Number 2. Everyone, without exception, continues to feel fear, often and on many occasions, in the present. Number 3. Everyone, without exception, will continue to feel fear in the future. All human beings, in fact, all living beings, feel fear. Fear is absolutely necessary. Repeat after me. Fear is absolutely necessary.
You dog.
It was lovely. But that was like Fear on 4, wasn't it? I mean, that was like, the ghost story read of the evening.
Well, do you know what I was thinking? More like Horror Channel or something like that, but it worked
I would
really
go further if that was the case. I would go, let's start by accepting and highlighting. If that was the case, I would go slightly darker with it.
So talk me through, Jonathan, those choices then, because there was a slightly fearful feel to it. There was a slightly danger feel to it.
Well, rather than do it completely straight,
Yep.
which would be, let's start by accepting and highlighting 3 basic, concrete and absolutely undeniable premises. I felt that that I'd give it an interesting twist, but that was vanity entirely, rather than doing something bland.
That was the choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which was my choice as well, Jonathan, I have to say.
Indeed. I think that's a requirement, isn't it? Yes.
I'm only going to give you a lovely bland read on this, obviously, as we all know. But it's just that I'm just interested in, I mean, I know what your choice was, Mark.
A little too obvious, maybe.
I loved your read because it had a kind of drama to it.
It did.
I think also you have to go through and think about there are different thoughts in every line because it's got the same without exception. You've got to give them three different ways of saying it.
Yes.
You're not just if you went everyone without exception, everyone without exception, everyone without exception, that would be banal beyond belief. But if you go everyone without exception, everyone without exception, everyone without exception. You're giving it three different colours.
Very much so.
It needs to have a build. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it needs to have a
And that's the same with repetition of all of those kind of things that we see in
Yeah.
lists. That's the problem with lists, isn't it?
And yet I have been given directions to not sound like an actor. I've been given directions to say, no, I want it bland. I
Yeah.
want it real.
Well,
And
I think
the trouble
we've
is
all
then
heard
is you
that
think,
one, yeah.
We have. Can you do it as if we're in the pub? That's the other great one.
Well, I
isn't it?
can, but...
Well, I can, but I'd be shouting over the din, I
Yeah.
think. And why would I want to have a conversation about Hoovers in the pub?
Quite.
But nonetheless, you presumably, if you're directed that way, you just do it.
Of course
don't
you do it.
Yeah,
You want the money.
exactly,
You need the
exactly.
check at the end. You
Yes,
can't.
indeed.
You don't want to. I worked with an actor once who said to me, he'd been at the National a few times, and he said, I presume you've reached the stage of your career where you just, if you don't agree with what's going on, you walk out. And I said,
Wow.
I said, funnily enough, no, I don't. I try and make it. I'll do whatever they say. I am putty in their hands. I said, do you do that? Then do you walk out? He said, oh yes, frequently. I said, have you been working much recently? He said, no. And I just thought that was the answer. Of course not. Of course you don't do that. You do what they require because they may have something that you're not. You have the skill to be able to do to give them an option. It's giving them options.
Exactly.
That's your job.
Giving them
you know?
options, I
Yeah.
think, is
Yeah.
is
Indeed.
absolutely it.
All right, Sam, let's hear what your option for this was, shall we?
Nobody will be at all surprised to hear that mine is going to be blander than either of yours. So I shall relish my blandness.
Go for it.
Okay. Let's start by accepting and highlighting 3 basic, concrete, and absolutely undeniable premises. 1. Everyone, without exception, has felt fear at some point in the past. 2. Everyone, without exception, continues to feel fear, often and on many occasions, in the present. 3. Everyone, without exception, will continue to feel fear in the future. All human beings, in fact, all living beings, feel fear. Fear is absolutely necessary. Repeat after me. Fear is absolutely necessary.
Well, Teacher Sam came out in that end line. Just
Teacher
repeat after me,
Sam.
Teacher Sam.
Yes, worse than that. Dominatrix Sam.
Possibly
Dominatrix
so.
Sam. Exactly.
Yes.
This is how I get these jobs, Jonathan.
Even
That's all
though
I can
you
say.
said that in the list, without exception, builds each time, it was very subtle, the build that you did.
Well, I did tell you I was going to do the read I did, which is what they wanted. You know, the thing is with audiobooks is you're there just to serve the purpose of that. So 6 hours of me being acting might pall a little, I feel.
Do you do audiobooks, Jonathan, at all?
No.
Because of that?
No, because of the pay.
Same reason I don't
yes,
do them.
that's true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I formed a little publishing company, and I've got another book out, which is a book I've written about voiceovers, which is called "Go Quicker, Sound Slower." Which
I'm
was,
about halfway through it. It's
thank
good
you very
fun.
much.
It's a rip
Thank you
roar.
very much. It's supposed to be fun, but it's that "Go Quicker, Sound Slower" is a direction that I've been given on several occasions.
I think we all have. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, weird. It's so, but you can physically do it. You can actually, if you get rid of the light and shade, you can. It's almost like this. If you flatten everything and not act it, you'll fit it in because it's the acting that gives it the shape, that gives it the pauses, that gives it the colour. But it won't be the read. I remember doing one in a session, and the guy said, "Yeah, so I knew you could fit it in. Can you put some light and shade into it now?" And you go, "Well, it'll be
Not
3
really.
seconds over
Yeah,
again."
exactly.
I used to come home from a session and write down the madness of it. You know, it's like somebody from CBB saying, "Hello, Jonathan, we'd like you to play a tree for us." And I go, "Oh, okay, what kind of tree is it?"
Was that
it's a
Sam
big
when
tree.
she was working at CBeebies?
No.
And I don't think that was a Sam impression, though.
Maybe not. No.
But they said it's a tree. But I said, "You got a picture?" No. But it's a tree. Play a tree. I said, "Okay, but is it a little of a sapling? No, it's not a sapling. Oh, okay. Is it a big tree? Yes, big tree. Yes, it's leaf. There's leaf on it, and it's got very big roots. As if somehow that would give you the idea of what a tree should be. And I'm thinking to myself, hang on a second. I could do deep. I could do a tree that. Oh no, we don't want it particularly deep. Oh, okay. It's not particularly big. Not that. Oh, okay. and I'm going to play him a bit like that. No accents. Oh, okay. Let me see. And she said, I'll give you a clue. Yes. Very barky. Lots of bark on it. Oh, God, as if that's going to help me. I said, how about I use this voice, which is my voice? And she said, yes, let's give it a go. So I did that. She went, and she said, oh, that's our tree. Welcome, she said to me. And I remember wrote that when I got home. I thought that was such a weird session. It was, I just wrote them down, and the book in the end has become a kind of collection of things as an actor as well as a voiceover.
The book is certainly worth reading, and it just shows how odd voiceover can be at times. So I'll put all the details of that in the show notes. It is worthwhile remembering that we are working on real scripts, but we've changed names and some details to avoid some copyright issues. And while we're on the subject of scripts, you can find both the ones that we're using in today's show in the show notes of this episode. Go on, have a look. How would you read them?
Jonathan, talk us through what you sent us through.
This is a script from a Paddington Bear episode I did in the 90s, and where I played Paddington. It's a couple of burglars he encounters, thinking they've in fact come in to speak to Mr. Curry, and he's in Mr. Curry's house. So,
it's so sweet.
That is the conceit of the piece.
So in fact, we've got 3 characters here. We've got Paddington, Bill and Fred. Sam, how are we going to attempt this? Because we don't often have scripts with 3 different characters in, do we?
We don't, but I thought it was a lovely idea. So one of us, whoever's doing the read, will be Paddington.
Okay.
Because that's what Jonathan was.
Yes.
Paddington. And then Jonathan and I will take either Bill or Fred.
Okay. And
we'll read in a round.
Excellent. Okay. Does that mean I have to be Paddington first?
You can be Paddington first. Do you want to be Bill or Fred, Jonathan?
I'll be Bill.
Okay.
Bill, okay. All right, then.
Right. Okay. Putting myself into little small bear. Okay. I'm imagining the duffel coat.
Hello, I'm Paddington, Mr. Curry's neighbour. He isn't here right now, and,
The house is empty. Why, Fred, he's perfect. Perfectly bad luck, you mean?
We're Mr. Curry's distant cousins.
We're paying him a visit.
oh, what a relief. I mean, how nice. Do come in. This is the sitting room. Here, I'll go and make some tea. You sit down and make yourselves comfortable.
Very good. I'd cast him.
Give that boy a job.
I don't know if I went a little on the young side. Perhaps.
No, I think it was young and innocent. Lovely. What's required?
Paddington is young, I was
True.
going to say.
The fact he's taken in by the burglars is proof that he's
True.
Yes.
He's a youngster. Yeah, good. No, I loved it.
Yeah, you were nervous, Paddington.
Yes.
I felt.
I think when talking to people who he didn't know, that's all I was thinking there.
Yes. Yeah.
He wasn't familiar with them, so was kind of a bit concerned in the background, maybe. Right, you have to be Paddington now, Sam. So,
I do, don't I?
Do you want to be Fred this time, John?
I'd love it. Thanks.
Love it.
I'd love it.
So Sam's going to be Paddington. Here we go.
Oh, hello. I'm Paddington, Mr. Curry's neighbour. He isn't here right now, and,
The house is empty? Why, Fred, it's perfect.
You're perfectly bad luck, you mean. We're Mr. Curry's distant cousins. We're paying him a visit.
Oh, what a relief. Well, I mean, how nice. Do come in. This is the sitting room. Here. I'll go and make some tea. Now, you sit down and make yourselves comfortable.
Oh, I felt like Paddington might be showing off a little bit. He was
Almost
almost proud.
doing that. I just thought Paddington's quite self-assured, actually.
Yes.
Even though he's a little bear.
He's very courteous. I think you came across as very courteous.
That's
You're
true.
very keen
Thank
to help
you.
them.
Yes.
He's always very and curious, courteous and curious. So he's interested in making them feel at home as well, because that's how he's been brought up.
I dread to think what Mr. Curry's going to say.
He always used to there was a lovely actor who used to say, bear, bear.
He was always very angry, Mr. Curry.
He was
wasn't
actually,
he?
you're right. He wasn't so good, yeah.
Red-faced and angry all the time. Can you remember, Jonathan, what your original direction for playing Paddington was?
Well, yes, because when I met Michael Bond, I said, "Do you want me to make him a bit like that? Because he's from Peru." And he said, "Oh no, 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 no.
Oh, no.
I said, well, shall I be deep under deep because he's a bear? Should he be? Oh, no, no. And I thought, oh my goodness, I should have read more of the books when I get an idea. But I was auditioned, so. And he said, no, just use your voice and have a go and pitch it up a bit. And I went, oh, okay. Remember, he's innocent. Remember, he's as I say, he's courteous. He said, give it a go.
Take it away, Mr. Paddington.
Oh, hello. I'm Paddington, Mr. Curry's neighbour. He isn't here right now, and
the house is empty. Boy, Fred, it's perfect.
Perfectly bad luck, you mean? We're Mr. Curry's distant cousins. We're paying him a visit.
Oh, what a relief. I mean, how nice. Do come in. This is the sitting room. Here, I'll go make some tea. You sit down and make yourselves comfortable.
Oh, it's lovely. I can see it straight away. I don't know why we
So
both went West Country.
sweet.
West Country burglars.
So sweet.
That was lovely.
Oh.
I see what you mean about just pitching it up slightly, but it's very
Yeah.
definitely you, but pitched up slightly. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's what he said. He said, yes, be yourself, but pitch up. I went, oh, okay.
Yeah. And do you have to sort of tap into a certain part of you to be that lovely little Paddington bear? Or
I'd love to say I did, but I don't think
no.
I do. No,
Fair.
Okay,
I think
that's fair
I think
enough.
I've just got. And the thing is, it's very difficult, isn't it? Because you come up with voices, and it's probably there is a resonance from somewhere, but at the
Yeah.
same time, or whether it's you've heard a voice, occasionally I'll think. I'm doing an original voice, and somebody say, "Oh, that sounds like the Queen," or sounds like the no longer with us
Yeah.
Queen, or that sounds like something else, and you haven't really. It's clearly made an impression on you somewhere.
we steal things from all over the
We
place.
still,
don't
we,
we?
you
Yeah.
can't help it. And also, one of the characters I love was there used to be toothless people when I first watched Chelsea, old blokes, and they have a voice couldn't like that, they have a voice like that, and they go, and they come on, Chelsea, come on, yeah, well, come on, you blue boys, yeah, and the ball would be kicked up the pitch. That's more like it, blue boy. Yeah. and occasionally that will come up when somebody says play a character here, and you think, well, I could have a go at that one, couldn't I? I could do that, I could set it there, and I'll go around the country. And just thinking, I could make him a bit there in the middle there somewhere, or I'll make him a bit like that. And then you impose the character on it, So you can have a Yorkshire voice, but you can make him an older Yorkshire voice. Or you make him up there a bit, or you can make him a bit at the back of your throat, can't you? It's then thinking in terms of a character within that accent.
That's
And
a
that gives you-
really
that
good way of
gives you
thinking about it, actually.
A lot of
Yeah.
It's not thinking I've got the voice off. It's thinking what character can I play in that voice as
Yes.
well. So that gives you a panoply of characterization that you can delve into.
There's such good advice there. Anyway, let's move on to the wild card, guys, because
Right.
this is where you can literally take those accents and put the character on top of it, perhaps. Jonathan, could you pick one of the scripts for Sam or for me and give us a new direction? So either a very different Paddington or whatever you fancy from the list.
Let's do Paddington.
Okay.
Yes.
Because he's a talking bear. He's just escaped from the police.
Right.
And he's come in and is
Okay.
very worried about what's going on. And these two guys know that he's on the lam, as it were. They know he's escaped, and so this is subterfuge, and his is subterfuge as well, because he doesn't really want to encounter them, and he's going to run away.
Interesting. So who's going to be Paddington?
Sam can be Paddington.
Okay. So I'm still Paddington the bear, but I've escaped, so I've got a different backstory at this point.
Yes, completely.
And I'm also thinking I need to disguise myself in some way.
Yes.
Whereas
disguise
Bill and
the-
Fred know what is actually
Okay.
going on.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. I'm Paddington, Mr. Curry's neighbour.
He isn't here right now, and
The house is empty. Why, Fred, it's perfect.
Perfectly bad luck, you mean? Oh yeah, well, we're Mr. Curry's distant cousins, and we're paying him a visit. Aren't we, Bill?
Well, what a relief.
I do mean, how nice. Do come in. This is the sitting room. Here, I'll go make some tea. You sit down and
Make yourself comfortable.
Get him!
You're under arrest,
A
Paddington Bear.
subterfuge dropped at the end.
No idea.
It was a lovely kind of way of playing a scene completely differently, though.
Yeah.
Well, you're on the run, aren't you, at that point at
Yeah.
the beginning? And you've skidded around the corner and you've found the wrong people outside your house.
Yep.
So then you've got to, I don't know. But I imagine if you looked at it very carefully, you'd be able to pick holes in that plot.
All right, Jonathan, one for you. I'm going to go for the other script for you, though, the dull one. And I think I would like you to be a science fiction captain of a starship, not necessarily a starship that we know or anything. And he is addressing his crew all about fear.
Okay. Yeah. Now, let's start by accepting and highlighting 3 basic, concrete, and absolutely undeniable premises. 1. Everyone, without exception, has felt fear at some point in the past. 2. Everyone, without exception, continues to feel fear often and on many occasions in the present. 3. Everyone, without exception, will continue to feel fear in the future. All human beings, in fact, all living beings, feel fear. Fear is absolutely necessary. Repeat after me. Fear is absolutely necessary.
He's quite a tough old captain, that one, isn't it? It's like he's not taking any shit from anybody, is he?
Tough as old
Wow,
boots.
Yeah.
tough as old boots.
Absolutely.
I almost did. I used to do Kirk a bit, who did that kind of thing all the time. That was the way he did it, but I thought it'd be a bit boring to go. Let's start by accepting and highlighting the 3. I thought
That might have been too obvious, exactly, but I don't think.
Exactly.
But not going down that route, I thought worked very nicely. I could see you on the bridge of a starship, though, making
Thank you very
that
much. Thank you.
proclamation. All right, Sam, I think you have to come up with one for me now.
I do. I'd like you to be. I'd like to do script 1 actually. I'd
Okay.
like you to be a kind of a fortune teller.
Okay.
A fortune teller. You can make predictions in the middle of it, but you and it's your choice, to be honest, whether you're the kind of fortune teller that's in a little circus tent, you know, in a fairground tent, sorry, you know, you can, or you can be fortune teller on stage. Fortune teller, you can be big.
Okay.
Bigger, but you know, take your pick. But
I think I have an
fortune,
idea.
You know, you
Yeah.
can predict the future.
Yeah, I think I have an idea. Okay. Cross my palm with silver. Let's start by accepting and highlighting 3 basic, concrete, and absolutely undeniable premises. Line 1. Everyone, without exception, has felt fear at some point in the past. 2. This line. Everyone, without exception, continues to feel fear, often and on many occasions, in the present. And 3. This line on your palm. Everyone, without exception, will continue to feel fear in the future. All human beings, in fact, all living beings, feel fear. Fear, my friend, is absolutely necessary. Repeat after me. Fear is absolutely necessary.
Oh, but is my husband alive?
No.
No.
No, I like the foreign aspect of it very much. I like the fact that he was slightly Eastern European. I like
Slightly,
that. I thought
very
that was
slightly.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but very
quite-
slightly. Yeah. But no, I loved it. I didn't quite know where we were going with it. If he was on stage,
To
What
be
was he
fair,
gonna
nor
say?
me.
Yeah, okay.
Well, as always, we've put these scripts in the show notes so you can have a try yourself in the comfort of your own booth.
Yes, you can. Now, our question this week, Jonathan, is if you were starting out right now in the voiceover industry, what would you do differently?
Gosh.
It's a very tricky one because the world of voiceovers has changed completely from when I
first started. As I say, when I started, there weren't that many people doing it, and I girded my loins and went round and gave a cassette to various voiceover agents, and only one was interested. But now, I would say don't be discouraged, because there are so many thousands of people having a go at being voiceovers. The problem I have with the era we're now in is that so many people want authenticity. They want the real thing. And I come from an era where I tried to do as many different characters and voices as possible. And I'm not sure that is now considered what is required, because the pool of voiceovers and actors are so enormous. You can get the real thing. Whether they're going to be any good is another point. But,
so you mean a producer would go for a Scouse actor rather than someone playing Scouse? Yeah,
absolutely.
But when you're doing video games and things like that, or anything,
yes.
then they love it, don't they?
They love it, because in fact I've just done one, and I've done several recently, and I've no idea what they're called because I signed the NDA and then I've forgotten what I did.
Fair.
So, but
it's the safest way.
For video games it's perfect, but particularly since each audition I do, I'm asked to do 4 different characters.
Yes.
So I think then the dilemma I've got with it is what used to happen was they used to ring up and ask me to do voice jobs, and you'd go along and offer them voices, and you'd got the job because they thought you will provide something for them. Yep. And I say once again, there weren't that many actors doing it, so they knew that you would provide something and they'd accept something. Whereas I find now I'm looking at a picture, giving it an interpretation. It'll say no more than 3 auditions or just the one, and I've got so many more to give them.
Yeah,
I could do. You think I could do 6 characters for this one? I did 6 different voices, and I don't know what choice to make. And occasionally I'll make a choice and think, well, I haven't heard back, so I haven't got it, so it was the wrong choice. Once again, I would say just keep going, because I've been knocked back over the last year by not getting jobs. And you think it's not because I'm not good, it's because they've just wanted someone else. There are lots of people doing it. So, have the courage of your convictions and try and get a good dictionary, a compendium of voices that you can do just by listening and borrowing and grabbing, and use other people's and copy. It's what I was saying earlier about something. It'll be just in your psyche somewhere. You've copied from someone inadvertently. Well, physically copy someone. Go and look at a game. Go and look at something on YouTube and think, I can do that voice. I'll use that in my library. I'll create that and have a reference to it and see if that then fits the character. I mean, I did one recently. There was a character recently that I thought had to be this. It was a rather large king, and looks as if he'd eaten too many pies, and a really kind of jolly cartoon. That was the reference.
And I thought I'd need a kind of voice like that, a kind of old Mr. Kipling voice from those ads. I thought, that'll fit marvellously.
Didn't hear a thing at all about it. So clearly that wasn't. And yet you think, should I go the opposite? Should I do something else? Should I go shall I make him... I mean, I don't quite know how you go against that, if that's in your mind and you're doing it. But even try it occasionally. Try an out-of-this-world voice that you don't think would fit, because you just don't know. They may think, that's very different. I like it. It works.
Yes, absolutely.
So go for it. If you've got that ability, just keep on. And as I say, don't be discouraged. Just keep on having a go, because if you get with a client who likes you, then the client will keep on using you. There's always that aspect to it as well. So, and also if you're reliable and you do all the basic things, get the WAVs in on time, or with the MP3s or whatever they want, and you're nice to work with, and you're amenable and accessible, that's so important. And don't be contentious. I just used to say, oh, okay, then whatever direction I was ever given, just go with the direct. Go with if the director wants you to do something, do it. Don't and try and do it. At least try and make an effort to do it, even if you can't do it. At least don't hit back. Don't knock back at them ever. Yeah. It's the world where they're the boss and you're being directed by them, and they're the ones with the creative ideas themselves. Don't knock against it. Having said that, though, if you've got an idea, don't. I was always very tentative about giving idea. I was, speaking in the past, if I don't do it anymore. I still am. I'm always very I don't want to give a direction just in case I'm coming across as being uppity, as if I'm being a bit. But I will always say, would it be okay to suggest that I do? I'll stick it in very obsequious language, but nonetheless, it's so not to step on their toes, but just to say, is this could we try this? Can I do it this way? And they'll probably say, yeah, give it a go. And if you can know pretty soon if they don't like it, because they'll go, yeah, that's great, but I think we were happy with it before. They'll tell you. But but then you're seen as also somebody who's keen on the project, who's got ideas about the project as well. So you need to be enthusiastic about what you're doing as well. So but they're very basic things. Is what people require of anybody doing a job. You need to seem to be interested in it and have a view. and the world that I particularly worked in and still do from time to time is in commercials. You've got to fit it in 30 seconds. So you've got to make you've got to make that accessible. You've got to make that work within all the ideas you've got, but cram them in. Yeah. And that requires a lot of concentration and a lot of and decent sight reading. So you've got to improve those areas as well. If you can't, they're not as good for you.
It's all really good advice. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. All of Jonathan Kydd's details can be found in the show notes and details of the book there as well too. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Me, I've loved it. Thank you. I thought you were asking members of the public. Have you enjoyed it?
I'm sure they've enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. Yeah. No, I've loved it. Thank you. You've been great. You both have been fantastic. Thank you. Lovely experience. Thank you.
It's been lovely having you. And of course, the scripts are also in the show notes. So do like and subscribe and leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, yes, please. That's it for this week. Thanks again to Jonathan Kydd. We'll be back next week with more scripts and another voiceover guest when we'll be asking, this is where we do it all together, Jonathan. We'll be asking, how
do you say that?
How do you say that?